Welcome back. I'm joined by Championship correspondent Pascal Lemaire to preview Friday evening's match between Ipswich and Bournemouth. Pascal, it's obviously a massive game in the race for promotion. Start with the away side, had a really good win over Millsborough last time out, moved them top of the table.
Yeah, it was a huge game for them. Borough went into that after two impressive wins over Ipswich and Derby in the week before that. So for Bournemouth to completely nullify their threat and run out 3-0 winners was very impressive. And the fact it took them top of the table was just an added bonus as well. It's very tight up there. They're 1 point clear of Watford and Middlesbrough in the two places below them. So it's still so tight. Bournemouth, nowhere near pulling away at the moment. I think they are, they're probably the biggest surprise out of all the sides up there. They're still quite a small club, Bournemouth, but the job they've done, Eddie Howe, making them play fantastic, exciting football, scored the most goals in the league by a long way. They're doing really well at the moment, and that 3-0 win over Borough was just very impressive, the way they sort of played. They dominated that game for long periods. The first goal came from the penalty spot. I think that first one was a penalty. The third goal was also a penalty, but that one was a bit more dubious, so they got a bit lucky with that. But the second goal from Harry Arter, just a fantastic strike, from his left foot. He's really sort of an ambidextrous player, but great with both feet, and this left foot strike right into the top corner. Brilliant goal from him, and he's one of the standout players in their team this year, along with Matt Ritchie. You've got Callum Wilson as well, but the thing with Callum Wilson, he's returned. He got called into the England under-21 side, and he went away with them, but picked up an injury on duty with them, and Eddie Howe's come out and said that he would be surprised if he's fit for the two games over Easter. So he's probably going to be out of this game, but they have brought in Kenwyne Jones on loan from Cardiff. Quite an interesting signing, because Kenwyne Jones, he's a good championship player. He started the season with Cardiff after their relegation from the Premier League, and he was one of the sort of best strikers in the sort of first month or two of the season. He scored the first goal of the whole season at Blackburn on Friday night back in August. And he sort of lost his way a bit at Cardiff. They've signed players like Owen Doyle, Adam Lafondra. They've signed a lot of other strikers, and Jones sort of fell down the pecking order a bit. So I think he's a great signing for Bournemouth. Different sort of player to Wilson. I think if Wilson, his pace is he's the sort of player that causes the Ipswich defence a lot of problems. They've got Tommy Smith, Christoph Berra, Luke Chambers back there, who are all quite strong, good in the air players, but they're not very quick. So I think if Wilson had been there, he caused them a lot of problems in the reverse fixture back in November. So with him being out, I think that's a bit of a boost for Ipswich. But Kenwyne Jones coming in, he's a good signing for them, and he probably will start this game. He's come in. I mean, I'm not sure. Yanka Morgan, Brett Pittman, they've sort of played second fiddle to Wilson all season, but whether Jones starts, it'd be interesting to see.
Moving on to Ipswich, obviously had a massive win at Watford last time out to move them back into the top six.
Yeah, it's just a huge result for them. They'd lost 3 of their previous 4 games before going into the 2 games against Bolton and Watford. They won 1-0 in both those games, 2 late goals, 79th minute against Bolton, and then the winner against Watford was incredible. 95th minute, Richard Chaplow, sort of a new player, goes through on goal, sticks it away right in front of the away fans. A brilliant moment for the Ipswich fans, and that was just a huge win, because Watford went into that game top of the table, absolutely flying, and for Ipswich to go there, Mick McCarthy, it was a real classic performance from him. He really shut down Watford's attack. They've got players like Troy Deeney on fire, Mate Vidra, goal scoring midfielders, wing backs always pushing up as well, and Ipswich completely nullified that. Watford, I don't think they didn't have a single shot on target all game, so that just shows how well Ipswich defended in that game, and then to nick it the way they did, considering how well they defended, they probably did deserve that late winner, and like you say, back into the top 6, because Brentford dropped points against Millwall, so they're 1 point ahead Brentford, 2 above Wolves. Wolves are really charging up at the moment. They've won 2 in a row as well, and Ipswich is a big boost over the international break, because there was the loan window, so obviously Bournemouth brought in Kenwyne Jones, but Ipswich got 2 players from Crystal Palace, Zeki Fries, but Jonathan Williams is the big one. He's been on loan at Ipswich twice before, and he's a real star player, sort of quite very creative player. A lot of other clubs were interested in him, and in the past, he was on loan at Ipswich earlier on this season, and he was looking good, but then he got a horrific injury. He got a bad tackle from a Watford player, actually, Joel Ekstrand, and he got ruled out for about 3 months, I think, and he obviously got sent back to Palace. But Ipswich have managed to bring him back in again, and that's a huge boost to have him back, because he's just the sort of player that Ipswich don't really have. They don't have any of those sort of little players, little creative players. Watford have got quite a lot of them, but Ipswich don't really have that, and he offers, behind someone like Darryl Murphy, like the goal scorer, he can create chances and just do things that none of the other players can really.
Like we said, massive game. What's your score prediction for this one?
Yeah, I think obviously being a good atmosphere down at Ipswich, Friday night game, 5:15 kick-off on telly, be a lot of pressure on both sides, but I think just the way Bournemouth are playing at the moment, they're 6 games unbeaten. Ipswich have looked a little bit wobbly of late, even though they have won the last 2, so I think I'm going to have to back Bournemouth here 2-0.
We're also going for a 2-0 Bournemouth win.